Hey guys, welcome to Juicy Tea, where I read out the best stories on Reddit, so you don't have to. They're funny, shocking, and satisfyingly juicy. Today's video is Sussy Sunday, where we try and find the truth. As per a subscriber suggestion, I'm trialing background music in my videos this week. Please let me know what you guys think. Our first post comes from the relationship advice subreddit, posted by Throwra right now. My boyfriend keeps walking in on me while I'm using the bathroom to poop. I've been with my boyfriend for 8 months, and I noticed after we started living together that he'd frequently walk into the bathroom while I was on the toilet. I started locking the door, but he would unlock it, saying he needed to brush his teeth or that he forgot something, etc., some other excuse. I asked him to respect my privacy and not walk in on me. We talked about it and he agreed. Now, he hasn't come into the bathroom since we spoke, but I've noticed how he'll often rush into the bathroom after I've pooped to try and smell. He's been subtle about this, but it's made me feel violated and totally self-conscious. I'm not sure if it's a kink he's keeping secret, but I need advice here on how to proceed. Surely this must be some kink, but what I do know is you need a better lock on your bathroom door, and maybe some refreshment spray. Our next post comes from Particular Nowhere 84. My nosy coworker is damned and determined to poke her nose in my life. I'm the only person in the office that keeps my personal life, well, personal. Doesn't mean I don't talk about anything going on in my life. I'll happily share funny stories or what fun things I did over the weekend, but the truly personal things stay that way. I'm also the only person who spends lunch alone. I need to. I'm an introvert. After answering phone calls from disgruntled customers, I need solitude and quiet, and I love to read. My nosy coworker has been trying everything she can to try and pry things out of me. She tells me I need to join in on their venting about spouses, family, etc. because we all need to vent. Yeah, we do, but not necessarily to the people we work with. If I have an issue with my husband, for example, I do this crazy thing where I talk to him about it. She'll ask me a million questions about everything she can think of. Why are you ordering food from there? Why do you straighten your hair if you're just going to pull it back? She even asked me, what kind of doctor appointment are you going to? When I need to briefly be out of the office for an appointment. That was approved by our boss, by the way. I guess since she can't get juicy details about my life, she grasps at straws and asks anything she can, to which she then uses as opportunities to criticize me. Anyway, when all that didn't work, she, and I kid you not, said to our boss, in front of me and in a very condescending tone, all workplaces that can should have employees spend their lunches together to get to know everyone better and talk about what's going on in everyone's lives. I could feel her staring daggers at me while saying this. At the very least, I could definitely feel her averting her attention to me, even though she was directing the statement to our boss. It just felt hostile. So, because she can't bleed personal things out of me on her own, she's gonna try and impose on my private lunch hour and tell our boss that we need to have lunches together. What the actual hell is going on here? This is borderline obsession. I have not done anything to this woman. I'm polite and professional with her. My only crime is keeping my personal life at home, where it belongs. Also, I can't go to HR. It's a family business. There is no HR. Our boss that she mentioned the communal lunches with is the owner. I think I'm more asking if anyone might know why she's like this with me, not so much what I should do about it. Down in the comments, Vexen17 says, you should feed her some bad intel for shits and giggles. See how far the bad info spreads. So is she bored, a gossip addict, or is she obsessed with OP? Or is something else going on, like weird control issues? Whatever's going on, this obsessive behaviour isn't normal. It's a little sus. Posted by Ms. Pia. I, 26 female, am considering moving out / breaking up with my boyfriend, 30 male, because he convinced me to move in with him and then moved his whole family in as well. I've been dating my boyfriend since 2019 and became serious in 2021. We were living in different states at the time and he would always ask me to move in with him. I've always refused because I wanted to be married before sharing a home with a man. Fast forward to 2023, he convinced me that we should get married, at least in the court, and we'd move in together in his home state, Maryland. I was living in Georgia at the time, and I was adamant about not moving until we were married. March, he finally got through to me, and I accepted to move in with him. A couple weeks before I moved, he mentioned that some of his family members would be moving in with him for a couple weeks. I wasn't okay with this, but since I'd already broken my lease, I didn't have a choice. Finally, I moved in March, and I was extremely uncomfortable. His family's from abroad, so they've yet to get acclimated, and I completely understand that he's their only support for now. His family consists of his mum, his dad, his brother's wife and kid, his sister and his aunt. I've been living with them since March, and I'm miserable. They don't respect boundaries. Although his name and my name are on the lease, they think it's their place, always walking into my room without knocking, and his mum actually saw me naked because she just barged into my room when I was about to go in the shower. I've discussed this with him so many times. He claims it will eventually change, but I promise you it won't. He makes excuses that they're naturally mean. They're not being mean towards me. When I'm in the kitchen, I'm being watched, although I purchased the groceries. There is so much more, which would take hours for me to explain. I feel like I should not be experiencing all this. I'm so depressed. I spend 90% of my time hiding in my room so I don't have to see them. As a girlfriend, I shouldn't be in this mess. But now I understand. The main reason I was asked to come was so that I could help pay some of the bills, because he had to rent out a bigger space so everyone could have their own room. Oh, and another thing, I suggested I'd move out, and he said he'd move out with me if I really didn't want to stay. But we'd have to pay double the bills, and he suggested that we move somewhere that's in close walking distance so his family can have access to the place. How should I approach this? What would you do in this situation? I've never heard the phrase, "they're naturally mean." Is that like when someone says they're brutally honest? No, Sarah, you're just a bee. So this whole situation's a bit sus. He rented out a bigger place to fit everyone. That means he lied to you about them being only there for a few months, and intentionally didn't mention it at all until you broke your lease. He's just using you to fund his family. Run, girl, run! And oh my god, you have to pay double the bills and still be close to his family so they can keep violating your boundaries? Move out without him. You can be free. I'm gonna make a guess that he's actually got no feelings for this girl at all. He's just using her purely for the money and potentially even a green card. I wonder if he's already secretly starting another long distance relationship with his next meal ticket. Our next post comes from Why Are You Staring? Am I the asshole for asking my husband why the cameras don't work when he's home alone? Recently married and combined households by moving in together. Great relationship, healthy sex life, and good communication. I, a 38-year-old female, have a few cameras around the house for security and to communicate with the kiddos that don't have cell phones yet, but mainly to see when my kids get home from school. I could care less about the cameras most of the other time. I had these and more at my old house, but I only set up 3 so far at the new house. The new house also came with a Ring doorbell camera. My husband, 43 male, is work from home. The first few weeks in the house were fine. No hiccups or glitches with the cameras. The Ring doorbell worked like a champ at every slight bit of movement. The first week he's solo in the house, and the first day the kids go off to school, when they come home, through the front door, there is no Ring notification. The timeline glitches as if the shots were deleted. Here's the main Ring account holder. I'm shared. I can't delete anything. That evening, I mentioned it, and he gets defensive, so I initially dropped it. I wouldn't have married him if I didn't trust him. I was just curious about what happened. Later, we talked it over, and I explained that I didn't think he did something malicious, but something definitely happened. We agreed to move past it. I decided to just take notes on when I noticed the glitches. It happened a few more times, and always on days that he's been at home, alone. Every so often, I've asked one of the kids what he's doing when they got home, and most of the time he was playing video games or in a work meeting. Today around 2, I go to check the garage camera to see if he's left the garage open, which he does frequently, and then we end up with exorbitant power bills, so I remind him to shut the door. I get the error, live view failed. I try the front of the garage, same error. I screenshot and send them to him, asking if he knows why they aren't working. He loses his shit. Starts saying that I'm accusing him of hiding things. Now, I don't think he's cheating on me. We have a healthy sex life. We typically communicate, but I just don't understand. The cameras work great when he isn't home. He has access to the cameras, just as I have access to the ring. If he isn't hiding anything and isn't messing with the cameras, then why the defense? I didn't ask what he was doing, but I did insinuate that I thought he had something to do with it. Too long didn't read. Cameras glitch, but only when Hubs is home alone. He gets defensive when I question it. Am I the asshole for asking about the cameras? I want to shout out the IT guys that mentioned bandwidth, which is probably our problem, since he video games when I'm trying to see the cameras. Also, these are and blink cameras, which are known to glitch. All in all, I trust my husband isn't doing anything to affect the cameras, nor do I think he's having anyone over to the house. I'm not going to set up a nanny cam or any other camera inside the house, because I don't feel the need to monitor his every movement, which a lot of you are concerned about. That's not why the cameras are there, and if he felt that way, I'd take them down immediately. For those of you who said he was getting defensive because his wife was making crazy claims against him, you're 100% correct. For those comments, I greatly thank you, because it helped me see that I was being a little bit of an asshole. I do agree with not jumping to conclusions, especially when there's other plausible explanations, but it's still pretty sus that this only happens when he's home alone. Our last story comes from Striking Adaptness 55. Am I wrong for asking my girlfriend for a paternity test? Hello everyone, can I please get your opinions? My girlfriend and I dry humped some months ago. She was in sweatshorts and underwear, and I was naked. I ejaculated, and she said she was in her fertile window, and she's been freaking out since. She just got a test done, and it's positive. I'm just so confused about how all this happened, because she wasn't naked for even a second. I'm lost. Should I believe I'm responsible? I'm asking for a prenatal test, but she's refusing. Edit. I got her off as I ejaculated, so just a little bit got on her shorts. It wasn't even wet. I'm sorry if I'm posting too much, but it's just that I don't have anyone to talk to, and talking to people on Reddit here makes me feel better. Down in the comments, effed fiance says, "This, kids, is why sex education is so effing important. Jeesh." OP asks, "Do you think what we did could get her pregnant?" Loving Life at My Age says, "If it did, you need to enter your sperm for the Olympics. I doubt she's even pregnant, but if she is, you definitely need a paternity test." And Holman Dane 5931 says, "Parkour sperm, everyone's worst nightmare." This whole situation is sus. Personally, my guess is she's gotten pregnant by some deadbeat and thinks OP's a sucker who will take care of it if she convinces him it's his, but really didn't want to actually F him. But hey, I could be wrong. Maybe she's just as naive as him and is assuming she's pregnant or something without actually getting properly tested by a doctor. Or perhaps he really does have sperm of the gods and a machine gun dick. Remember, I post new content every day, so subscribe for more juicy tea.